Today I'm going to talk about boots. Now, riding boots, like I said about helmets, I'm no expert in the field, but I have been using motorcycle boots. And based on my experience, the usage, the different types of boots that I've used, I just thought I'm going to talk about the when, the why, and how of motorcycle boots. But before we begin, there are three things that I really think about before I buy motorcycle boots: comfort, feel, and protection, of course. So comfort is essentially a factor of how flexible the boot is, plus the sort of padding, the material that goes into making the boot. And for me, if I'm able to wear the motorcycle boot all day long, whether it's on the motorcycle or off it, let's say going to work or whatever, that's a factor that I consider when I consider comfort. Feel is, of course, on the sole, depends on the sole of the shoes and how much flexibility or how much, especially in this direction, what sort of flexibility it offers. And it's important to me because it allows me to modulate my rear brake better, and it allows me to shift through the gears, up or down the gearbox more precisely, quickly if I need to. And then, of course, there's protection. One of the main reasons, or the only reasons why we buy motorcycle boots, choose to wear motorcycle boots on motorcycles instead of regular boots. And protection, you can have, if I were to really split it, broadly, essentially. So I'd say that you'd need protection for your toes, protection for your heel, protection for your ankle, and you would need protection for your shin. Plus, you would need some sort of protection against your foot twisting and moving in a direction that you don't need to. Now, if the foot is supposed to move like this, you want the boot to protect so that it's not a movement that it's designed to do. So that's what the boot should protect you against. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's just, in my opinion, or how I would classify boots over the years, is broadly into three categories. You've got the shorties, the tall boots, and of course the MX or dirt boots. Now, the short boots and the tall boots, I would further classify them into different categories, and we'll get to that. So let's just start with the short boots first. Now, if I were to talk about short boots, I think these are canvas boots that Royal Enfield makes, and in terms of comfort, very high, usability, very high. So those are the essential pros for the boots. They're also very light, and of course, they're easy to store. Cons would be the lack of protection. The material is canvas, so it doesn't work very well in a slide. It also doesn't protect you as well in an impact. And even though it's got protection around the toes and heel, it's not really that solid sort of protection. So if for minor impacts, it's okay, but anything serious and it won't be able to hold. Plus the ankle is all essentially spongy, thin, so not too much there. And you got laces, which means that chances of these being caught on the motorcycle hard parts is possible. So when would I use them? I would use them for short commutes. I would use them to go to work because they gel really well under, if you wear them under your denims. And if you choose the right color, they could also go with your suits if you wear a suit to work. So convenient, comfortable, that's the reason I would buy them. This is the other version. These are TCX. The main difference between this and the canvas boots, of course, is that the material is different, so it can handle slides more. Again, it's got protection for your toe, for your heel, little better protection for your ankle as well. And as you can see that there is a Velcro strap there, so you can tuck in your laces in there and they won't get caught in motorcycle hard parts, especially foot pegs, etc. And these are stiffer than the canvas boots. Now, let me just show you something about the canvas boots. You can twist them any which way you like, right? So that's not really good. These ones, not so much, right? So they are stiffer than the canvas boots, but they are still comfortable. And again, you can use them for commuting to office, wear it to office, on scooters, short commutes. You could go with these boots. Then we have the third variety in short boots. Now these are essentially, if you can, these are titanium sliders. You've got the design that's very race boot like, just like chopped race boots. Again laces, again a strap to hold them in place. These boots, these Daytona's Pro ACs, a lot stiffer in construction compared to the other two boots that I showed you. So naturally they're not as high on everyday comfort, but they are still comfortable, and you can wear them again for commuting. They work even if you ride super bikes to work, on scooters, etc. So the biggest con for these boots would be the price. Now, these are very, very close, dangerously close to full-size boots, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of people don't buy these or such boots. They would rather go for the canvas boots, or probably the intermediate ones that the TCX were. So these were your short boots. Now, the tall ones. Now the tall boots can be classified into three types again. You've got the touring kind, the adventure kind, and the race boot. So I don't really have a touring boot on me right now, but I have something in between. But let's start with the track boot. These are Alpine Stars SuperTech R's, and the pros for these boots, of course, is very, very high on protection. You consider the material, you take the construction, you take how stiff they are, plus now these are full-length boots, so you've got some more shin protection, and these particular ones also come with a inner booty. And what that does is, I don't know if you can see it, but maybe we'll have a close-up somewhere. So what it does is, it's got a nice hinge system, and it only allows you movement in this direction, and doesn't, I mean, you really can't really twist these boots. So in that sense, very, very high on protection. These are also very good when it comes to ventilation, you can see, and most race boots are really good in ventilation. Nice feel on the sole, and they work great on a motorcycle, especially a racy motorcycle. They work really well in a tuck position, maybe not so much like that, cruiser sort of position. But yeah, the cons for these are that these are not as comfortable, or they are not comfortable to be worn all day long. You can't really walk in them. You can't wear them to work. They've got slightly thicker cuffs, so putting your denims over them is also a little bit of a challenge. And as you can see, the boots, the soles, all of this starts wearing out because they're nice and thin. And so yeah, so I would use them on track mainly. It's great for people who want to go racing. It's also, these boots are also good if you ride a super sport, maybe over the weekend, to your twisties, favorite twisties. These work. Now to the touring boots, and like I said, I don't really have a touring pair, but what I have is this. This is the TCX S Speed or S Sport, S Tour that you get now, and as you can see, they're well used. This is my go-to pair if I have to go touring, and the reason is that these are a good balance between boots that you'd want to use for sporty riding and for touring to an extent. So they are more flexible than the race boots. Again, twisting is very, very minimal, but there is good movement, there is good feel. These are not waterproof, but touring boots, you can always have waterproof. So the pros of touring boots are, of course, that you get full length protection, which means shin protection, good protection for the toes, good protection for the ankle, for the heel. You've got good feel in the soles, because even though they are slightly thicker than what you get on race boots and these boots, but compared to MX boots, I mean, there is still more feel on your touring boots. You can have them in waterproof and ventilated versions. This is a vented version. You also can get a waterproof version on this. And yeah, so those are the pros of using a touring boot. The cons are, of course, that the protection level still isn't very high. I mean, it's better than shorties, but still, it's not right up there. The touring boots can be heavy. The touring boots might not be something that you could wear every day. Some also look less desirable, if you could say that. So yeah, those are the touring boots for you. Then, of course, you've got The adventure boots. Now these are the Alpine Stars Corosol, and these are very much like their MX or dirt boots in terms of design. So you've got very good shin protection, very nice toe protection, heel protection, ankle protection, and again, the movement in this direction is good, but you just can't twist them at all. So that's that. And the buckle system, uh, it almost holds your leg so well, so snug, that there is very little play and movement inside, which is again great for safety. What would I use them on? I would use them on adventure motorcycles, of course, for on-road and off-road use. I would also use them for general touring because these are waterproof. So if I've got a like a cruiser, I would use them. If I've got a street naked that I'm using for cruising, I would use them. I have also used them for commuting on scooters, etc. But yeah, uh, uh, so in that sense, a versatile pair. But cons would be that these are heavy, these are expensive, and the waterproof doesn't last forever. So waterproofing, sorry, doesn't last forever. And these are a little bulky, so they're difficult to store, difficult to pack, um, and uh, yeah. So even walking around is not that easy. And then, of course, we've got the MX boots. And these are the heaviest boots that I have. There is no inner booty on these. These are Tech 7s, but if you buy the Alpine Stars Tech 10, you get inner booties, but even that, super heavy boots. Now, the whole goal of an MX boot, especially like this, is protection. No matter how you look at it now, compared to the adventure boots, they had two buckles. This has one, two, three, four buckles, and the boot holds your leg like a cast would, right? So there's very minimal movement inside the boot that you can have if you choose the right size. And these are stiff boots. Now these particular ones for an MX pair are not that stiff, so they don't require forever to break in. There is some more amount of feel in the sole as well. These are thick soles because you walk over all sorts of surfaces, so these need to protect your feet. But if you go for traditional MX boots, they are so stiff that it takes forever to break them in, right? That means you can't walk in them, you can't ride a bike properly because you have no feel for the brake lever. Even for these, I've been wearing them for almost a year and a half, and even then, the feel for the brake is not so great, and it's caused me to high side a number of times. But yeah, but the essential thing is that these are for protection. Uh, and the other cons would be there's no waterproofing. You can only wear them on dirt and nowhere else. So very focused usage, which means, and they cost a lot. So unless you're really into dirt riding, these aren't the boots that you can buy and be happy with and use in stores. So yeah. I hope this helps you decide what boot to buy, when to buy, and why to wear them.